Welcome back to Couture Construction. I'm your host, Andrew Denny, and this is Season 11, The Art of Storytelling and Design. All season long, we've explored how the stories behind spaces shape the way we experience them. And today, we're shifting to the place where story becomes strategy, where design meets brand, where aesthetics meet identity, and where the narrative you craft determines how the world sees your work. I'm excited to be joined by two creative forces who not only understand this, they practice it daily. Brant Lyons, founder of OnBrant Agency, the boutique content studio shaping how luxury real estate, design, and lifestyle brands tell their stories online. Brant has built a reputation for pairing strategic insight with elevated imagery, creating digital narratives that build trust, shift perception, and actually convert. His eye, his instinct, and his understanding of the emotional and financial sides of design have made him one of the most sought-after creative partners in the industry. And with him is Dillon Arnold, founder and the creative director behind Haus of Black, and a previous guest of Couture Construction. Dillon is a designer whose thinking is rooted in legacy, craftsmanship, discipline, and imagination. He comes from 4 generations of builders and grew up studying process, absorbing craftsmanship, and learning to think with both sides of his brain, analytical and artistic. His design work, especially his bold, moody, and deeply intentional aesthetic, reflects a belief that the home is not just a backdrop, but a story we choose to tell. So today we're diving into how story becomes strategy and how designers, builders, and creative entrepreneurs can use narrative to build brand clarity, attract aligned clients, and communicate the deeper meanings behind the work. Brant and Dillon, welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So before we even begin, I just want to know a little bit about you guys. Share with our listeners who Dillon and Brant are outside of this.
First. Sure. Yeah. I'm Dillon. I'm a native, which feels like these days it's few and far between around here. But I love that. That's like a huge part of my identity. And I love that this place is home. I've dove fully into my brand. My brand is my life and vice versa. And I love what I do. I love that I get to work with a bunch of people here and create comfortable spaces for them to make memories and enjoy.
I'm Brant. I own a marketing company here in Nashville. I'm from Alabama. I'm not a native. I'm not a unicorn like Dillon.
You're close, though.
Close. I am from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Went to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. Moved to Nashville in 2019. Been here going on 7 years. And I worked at Twitter. I was a global account director at Twitter. So I did advertising campaigns for companies like Skims, Walgreens, Nordstrom, the Met Museum, all kinds of different corporations and companies around the world. It was amazing. And so I took that knowledge and I wanted to help small business here in Nashville. So during that time, I bought my first property and I bought it at 21. We bought it at 21, Worthen Lofts, and at 23 sold it, made $200,000 overnight.
Wow. And
it absolutely changed my life. And at the time, I barely had any money. So that
the proverbial pot to piss in.
Literally. I was going to say that. I didn't know if we could say that, but basically I had no pot to piss in. So, I remember the time I think I might have had $5,000 to my name at 23. And then it changed my life. So I got addicted to real estate. I got addicted to what you could do in real estate, how you could change your lives. I saw it changing other people's lives. So I took my knowledge from a corporate company like Twitter and wanted to bring it to people in small business in Nashville. So now I really primarily focus on real estate agents, designers, builders, and lenders, and that's what I love. And I really believe in the magic and the power of real estate here. It's awesome.
Very, very cool. Very cool. Well, with that, let's just go into a quick segue. So you often share that storytelling is the new currency. What does that mean? And kind of just walk us through that.
I really learned this during COVID. I feel like people were dying for human connection during COVID because everyone was so damn lonely. You know what I mean? And you get kind of tired of your kids or your, like maybe your wife or whatever in the home for 100+ hours a week. You know what I mean? So I feel that people started really looking for that online. So we make fun of the videos where people are unpacking boxes or cleaning their kitchen, but somehow we get mesmerized and actually watch those videos where we're like, why am I watching someone clean their bedroom or their bathroom or doing little mindless tasks? It's because we're all human. You know what I mean? We all want to connect. So I found that storytelling and how you make people feel, especially in the real estate space, is so vital because anyone can work with any real estate agent, but can they work with, let's say, Brant? They'd rather work, anyone can be a real estate agent, but can they be Brant? Can they be who you are? So it's really about who you are and how you make people feel. And that is in storytelling. Your life is a story, and it is all about how you make people feel. It all goes back to ethos and human connection.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I think that you're spot on, and we all do it. It's funny. My almost 80-year-old dad, or now 79, 80-year-old dad, 3 or 4 years ago, he hated phones. And now he's, watching.
Is he on the Facebook?
Whatever. He's luckily he's not on Facebook.
He's sending you reels at 2 a.m.
But he's, just on there and with memes and just connecting.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to see that. So, in the intro, and I think this would be, I'll tee this up for either of you. I think it's really interesting because when you look at this from a business perspective, Dillon, you have a design business. The way we're putting out our story, okay, how does that help align us with the right client? And I think that's something that is great when that happens for everybody involved.
Yeah.
So share with us how you're doing that at House of Black.
Well, so like the backstory of my business being born was through sharing my life on social media. I came in during TikTok's uprise during quarantine, and I was sharing home content because we had bought a condo and we had redesigned it, and that was kind of like our quarantine hobby. And it gained traction quickly. And to Brant's point about like people craving human connection, especially during that era, I think that really hit the gas pedal on it. And so my business was born on that platform, and
it blew up.
Crazy. Which was,
he will not say he's very
insane.
humble. It literally, I left him a weekend. I came home, he had over 100,000 followers in a weekend.
Wow,
it was insane.
Yeah, and
so you were the problem.
I resisted it for a long time. I was like, absolutely not. I don't want to do this, and I leaned in, and we're here. But since then, and definitely, I think a big part of our relationship is we share so much online. So I think even set aside business, people have bought into just our story, and there's trust and there's connection there just in general. And I think that just based on like even the algorithm, that finds itself in the hands of the right people who become clients. So they already know who I am and what I do. And if that aligns with them, that encourages them to start a project with me. And it's fun to kind of get to know them in return and figure out how like both of our stories can cross paths in a way that puts a stamp on their space.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point. So, when we're interacting with people, and we could use you guys as a great example, the world knows you, but you have to then learn and know somebody else that doesn't have the same online presence, or for whatever reason they may even, but you don't have really much to go off of. How do you overcome that? And do you have to live up to anything, like with a new client coming in? Does that ever create what's the term I'm looking for, an expectation that is hard, or somebody has created what they want to see in your own?
You talk about the design perspective, but I'm going to say I always am overly myself online. I will cuss if I want to cuss. I will say what I want to say, and if you want to work with me, I would love that, and we can get along. That's great, but I'm never going to. I grew up 18 years pretending I was something I wasn't, and then came out and found myself, and really I'm still finding myself every day, which is a blessing. You know what I mean? So it's not this ego or this vitality of
there's an authenticity.
It's an authenticity where I'm just exhausted from being whoever y'all want me to be. And if you love me, that's awesome. I love you. Let's make magic happen together. It's great. But I want everyone to feel like they can be their self around me. And I feel like I'm overly vulnerable about, hey, I was broke and I invested in real estate and did this. And I used to struggle and do this. Like, talk about the struggle and talk about where you were and how it wasn't like this the whole time and how many hours I spent a week working and being vulnerable about that. I learned that people mirror in a way, and you are a mirror of everyone around you, and they reflect, and then they feel more comfortable around you. Now, in a design space, how do you feel about that? Because design is really intense.
It is.
It's intense.
It is.
It is intense.
Yeah.
When I'm onboarding a new client, we don't even talk about design for like a big bulk of the beginning phase of this. It's a lot of getting to know you. And usually that's with a house plan between us. So that's mostly related to like, how do you live in your home? What are your needs, et cetera. And then that'll just kind of roll the ball of yarn of getting into a lot of personal details. So I would say a huge fraction of how I work with clients is like getting to know them intimately, you know what I mean? And you're getting to know their family members, their line of work, and all of these things are just necessary pieces in how we formulate the soul of their house, and it's exhausting. But it's
so much
it's a
detail.
very
Ridiculous.
a delicate thing, and I take it very seriously. And even though like they've bought into my story, I buy into theirs too. And in some ways their story becomes mine because, that's an extension of my work. And so it's great. And I cherish that a lot. And most of the time, we come out of a project as friends and we maintain like a relationship afterwards. And that's really special. It's nice to see clients, from years past that have made memories in their house. We see pictures.
Sending
we
us
see
pictures on Christmas morning
Yeah,
of
or
like
we
a
see
fireplace he
ways-
did or with
Right.
the kids and things like that. It's so sweet.
Like Christmas cards. It's the season right now. I'm seeing like the backdrop of spaces I help create in those, and that's special.
Yeah, I love that. So that's an interesting thing. So you guys are, I don't know how old you are, but you're relatively young, and this all came about within the last 5 or 6 years. Reference COVID. So Brant, I'm going to tee this one up for you because I'd like both perspectives, just from a branding, building a brand. There's an evolution to it, right? So, and Dillon, this is we can come back to this for you here in a moment, but the brand you were in 2022 is probably different than the brand you are going into 2026.
And mine is very different.
So walk us through that evolution just like, how should small businesses navigate that?
And that's okay. I mean, you are so different than who you're going to be tomorrow. You know what I mean? And you have to sit with that, and you can't beat yourself up. You just got to have a little bit of money to be able to rebrand every few years because it's expensive. I mean, I pay to rebrand myself sometimes, just websites and branding, and it is not cheap. So, a few years ago, I was more colorful and a little bit more young and Miami-esque, like pops of color and theatrical in a way. And now as I get older, I find more that I want to give a comforting feeling. I still want to be eccentric and fun and loud and make people feel excited. I always want to make people feel excited about life because life has so many valleys where it's like, I don't want to get up and do this. And I was talking about this on my Instagram story. I was answering questions the other day about, you have to change your mindset about have to versus get to.
It's a good one.
So for example, let's say someone called me this morning and they said, what are you doing? And I say, I have to go to this podcast. Even if I don't mean it like I don't want to go, have to, you have to verbally and mentally change in your mind. I get to do this. So in your brand, I just feel like, mine is a little bit more, I was making fun of myself the other day. I was looking at a photo. I'm in a fur coat that's checkered where I was like, I look like a DJ from Miami. I do not look like I do what I do every day. But at that time it was young, fun, and I was trying to make a splash because it was the beginning of my career. And now that I've worked really hard and put in all the hours, I don't have to be as loud. You know what I mean? So, my client base right now is very consistent, and so it's more comfortable, and it's about, once again, going back to giving people a feeling of comfort in my business, because I do content creation and people are very scared to be on camera and talk, and they're terrified, and you have to be a really calming, energizing, positive force for them during the process of filming every day with my clients. So it changes. You have to be okay with evolving.
And just a quick follow up to that. So, in the era of social media, do you see that your audience or your followers is there an evolution with them as well? Like, is that in essence how you gain traction and attract new followers, is through that evolution? And again, it's a natural thing, right? If I look at textures, 23 years ago, I mean, we were selling carpet out of a bonus room in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Wow.
Like a very different brand than it is.
And Texas does not look like that if you've not been to Texas.
Well,
it's stunning.
And
the best location too.
But my client then was very different than my client now. Yeah. And fairness, like with what you shared, I'm very different than 23 years ago. I mean, still incredibly handsome, but
of course,
but few more wrinkles, but yeah.
My clients now are pretty, I would say in our business was more of a thing where I would do one-offs or even 3-month contracts. And now my minimum is 15 to 24-month contracts. So, and I don't really have a lot of turnover. I mean, it's like my family. I love my clients. Like I get to work with them every day and see them. Like I genuinely get excited to go see clients.
I get to. Yeah.
And so I would say my clients now are just a little bit more consistent and they want to, you know what I mean? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I can shoot content, edit, post it, manage it, grow you like, as much as you want, but you have to be excited to show up, be dressed up, feeling good about yourself, be ready to talk on camera and market yourself. It's about how they want to show up too. It's truly a mirror. So that's why when I come in the room, I try to have like very high positive energy. I'm like, hello, and excited to get them hyped up to shoot because they are already a little bit apprehensive sometimes.
Sure. Absolutely. So how have you seen that in your business?
My brand is definitely not what it was when it started. And I think part of that just in the field of design, like design's such a moving target, you know what I mean? And trends are always changing.
Sure.
And so there is a little bit of like submitting to that and kind of riding that wave, but I have tried to stay like consistent and like maintaining my own thing and my own stamp on it throughout the years, and then just like elevating, you know what I mean? Like I think we have definitely like climbed a ladder as far as like project scope and craftsmanship and price point of projects, so that definitely opens the gates to just like a wider scope and a bigger reach. And so I think now I'm doing a lot more projects for clients too, versus like I'm still doing things for myself, but there's a lot of clients involved. So part of that is mixing my brand with theirs. And I think being flexible in that is also important. Of course, they hire you because they like your brand and they want a piece of it, but there's also like finding a way to mix them into it, Does that make sense?
That's such a good way to say it too. Yeah. We haven't even talked about that because, a lot of people in the design community, and I hate to call you out, but a lot of them can be pretentious and my way or the highway. And that's not business, babe. Yeah. I mean, you've got to show up. They're paying your bills. We always say like you show up and you are the staff. You are the employee, regardless of how famous a designer you are.
You're the
help. It can all go away. And I've seen it go away for a lot of people. They can be the most successful, wealthy, affluent, talented designers you've ever seen, and ego gets the best of them. So that's what I feel like you do so well is I was sitting in a meeting with him the other day. And I was working in the house because we have a home-based office, and he had a team over, and he was listening to a meeting, and he was listening to little things, and they were giving feedback that I wouldn't agree with, as because we do design and see, and I'm like, I don't love that, but he takes it in such a way where he gives them what they want, but adds a flair where it's so aesthetic and beautiful. And I was very proud of him for being able to take that constructive feedback, but still it be his brand and still be stunning.
Well,
I can't do that like in that way, or I could try to, but not as well as him.
But I also feel like as a designer, you're the switchboard between the contractor, the client, and the budget. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's helpful because I do build houses as well. So like having the contractor and the designer knowledge like helps me on my own. And then like having the budget and the client in front of me, like in finding the intersection where we are doing something that the contractor like can obviously execute and keeping it in like a dollar amount that everyone feels good about, and maintaining like my brand and what I want to, and also accomplishing what the client want. Like, you know what I mean?
Totally,
and it's such,
it is, and
it's a real thin line.
A switch is a great way to look at that. I mean, but because that's the absolute, it's the whole ideation to implementation. Like there's a lot that happens in that, and being able to be that interpreter is a big deal. And that's one of the things, like we run into this all the time, where an architect has drawn something in 2D that, and again, this architects have forgotten more than I know, but it simply like really can't be done. Like it needs another solution.
Sure.
And that solution can be every bit as beautiful and everything else, but you've got to be able to bring people together to make that happen. With it having the integrity of the desire of your brand, as you said, everything that goes into that decision, it's not it doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Right.
It is so, and I see how hard he works. I mean, we genuinely, we're in our hustle phase of our life. We're in our late 20s, going to be 30, and we work, I would say, at least 60, 70 hours a week right now, even if you see us traveling or whatever. I mean, for example, when we came home from our engagement, we worked our whole engagement while we were in Paris. We were gone 4 or 5 days in Paris, but we worked every day, checked in, and then the flight home, 9 hours. I mean, I worked every single minute. So, I mean, it is a hustle. I mean, so what I'm trying to say is, we talked about this. You designed 23 homes this year.
Wow.
And each home,
good for you.
And each home is around, he says like 80, 90 hours, but he is nice and sometimes wants he won't bill as much and things like that. I see him working till 2, 3, 4 a.m. So I would say it's more like 110 to 120 hours per project. So it is so much intention and time that people don't know all the revolving parts, especially communication, and hours that he doesn't even clock or put down for clients. So it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of work, and these homes are, and builders love him too because he stays in budget. And a lot of designers that builders worked with in the past, they'll just fry a budget and don't care. So, there's so many different pieces that you have to make perfect to make the puzzle finished,
Well, I mean, it is, I am so thankful every day that I'm not in design or building, because I just have to worry about 1, 2, 3 elements of a project.
But they're very important.
They're important, but I can't imagine having to worry about, different fabrics in every room and just incredible amount of detail and project management. It's like,
he does that too.
Intense project management. Even if you're just doing the design, like the project management of that 100-hour minimum, like that's a lot to get done.
Because he's a builder and he's a designer. So I mean, he builds houses. A lot of people don't know that. He's a GC. I know he doesn't look like a GC, but
I'm a hands-on designer too. I mean, even on projects that I just design, I'm constantly talking to the PMs. I'm on site more than I'm like required to be.
Absolutely.
Like,
totally.
It keeps me up at night.
We'd rather do that though and earn it.
It becomes personal,
though.
We'd rather it becomes personal,
and like that's the brand.
I'd rather
this is
brand,
a personal, intimate
I'd rather
experience.
earn business and over deliver and be like, damn, those kids are hungry. Like they are here to rock and roll and create magic. You know what I mean? So we have a very New York City mentality here. We want to be doing circles around people where they're like, wow, they are working hard.
Well, and I think that's smart. That's how I try to still operate like that. I mean, you cannot take anything for granted. There's always new trends, competition, and you've always got to be evolving. So I think you guys are very, very smart to do that in both of your fields. You mentioned something interesting, and I think you both did. Is you talking about contract length, you talking about kind of the scale of the scope now. Let's talk about money. Like, how is that? There's an evolution.
I'll talk about,
There's an evolution. You used to work on 3-month contracts or probably do one-off things. Now they're bigger. So, how has that impacted your business? Because again, if I were to spend money with you, and it's a lot of money, my expectation rises. For you, the scope becomes bigger. Even there's only so many hours in a day. But just share with me, with that evolution based on your brand, what have you seen happen?
Money wise or contracts?
Both. Like, I mean,
I would say the money is
not how much you're making, but just like the opportunity for scale. Like,
well, I'll be honest. I mean, my business is not super scalable because, like I said, I don't make just money in marketing and social media. We really do believe so much in real estate investing, and that's where I feel like people can make a lot of money. Like our goal, and he does not want to move out of our current house, but our current house, I got a really good deal on it. We put a really good amount of intention design, but the goal of the property we're in right now is to make over $1 million off that house. And that is where the money comes from. You know what I mean? So social media is great, but I don't really want to scale it to be huge because, like I said, I want to keep that feeling of I get excited to see my OG clients every day. I don't want to add a ton of new clients where, I mean, I'm of course always open to adding clients that I know and I'm comfortable with, but I don't want to scale it where it's just this corporate feeling office job situation. I want it to be where I see these same people on a monthly basis and it's personable and it's consistent. So I would say mine has been a more game of consistency. Seeing people on a more regular basis and, doing those 15 to 18 to 24 month contracts where it's this mutual agreement that, hey, we're in this partnership together and I'm going to help you and do everything I can to market you and make you some money. So, I mean, I would say my theme as I've evolved is consistency and making my business a little bit more intimate.
Would you say that, just for our listeners that want to build a brand, is the contract length strategic? Like, is that what it takes?
Yeah, because I don't want to take a
2-year journey.
I would say 15
to get
months
a good
is my minimum
foothold.
Yeah, I would say 15 months because I've just had people before that want to put a toe in the water,
do a project
for 90 days or something like that, and this does not come from ego. I'm just too busy. Like I just can't represent someone for 90 days.
What he does is like also exhausting because he's getting to know a client for months.
More, it's like sometimes they get comfortable after a year of filming them every month. Yeah,
but like filming in front of a camera isn't comfortable for everybody. So it's like there's a lot of like progress to be made over a long period of time there, and then just the results of his business.
I mean, I'm not kidding.
Isn't an overnight thing. I mean, it could be like
I think
special occasions,
25 to 30% of my clients are comfortable filming in front of a camera, which we do a very good job of making sure they look amazing on camera. Yeah. But I would say it's a lot of coaching and helping them and making them feel comfortable. A lot of them just. It's a thing they've gotten so, I mean, I've seen, I'm gonna give a special shout out to my client and friend, Axel Reed. He's a killer real estate agent in town. And the first time we ever shot, he was pretty nervous. I mean, and we joked about now he brought a bottle of Veuve champagne. We had a glass of champagne just to break the ice a little bit. And he was very nervous, but we got through that first shoot and he did a very good job. And now we get on a shoot and he just absolutely kills it. Does not mess up. So talented, well-spoken, on time, quick. I mean, it's crazy to see the evolution. I feel like my kids are growing up in a way. Yeah, a star is born. It's like, and I know I'm young, but I see them and I'm like, I put so much love and effort into these people. It's not about a bottom line or a dollar with these people. It's genuinely about wanting to brand them and market them and them not introduce themselves when they walk into rooms here in Nashville.
How has the money impacted your business? And again, this isn't about personal fortune.
Sure.
It's how has it changed? Like,
we love a budget. A better budget's awesome. Yeah.
Do we?
No, I'm saying. I'm
do we
saying,
love more money, more problems?
Well, no, I'm
right?
saying like you're working on a new neighborhood now where it's like more marbles and better finishes. Yeah.
I mean, from just like a scale perspective, from like the start to now, it's definitely let me have more freedom in filtering the jobs that I want to participate in. But just from like a money perspective on projects, these scopes get bigger, and a lot of times the budgets get bigger, which allows the creativity to get bigger. You know what I mean? There's just so much more you can do when there's more of like a padded budget that's specific for, like, I call it fun money. You know what I mean? That we can put in certain applications or finishes that elevate the space or catch your attention or just something that's not, expected or required.
We talk about this too. I went to a design meeting with him, with Megan at Graham's, a lighting design meeting. And it's so sad because how expensive stuff is now. What would you say? What was that? And you don't have to say which house it was or the neighborhood, but what was the neighborhood where we got to actually choose the finishes we wanted? what price point is that as what I'm asking? Is that 4 or 5?
Those are like 3.5 to 4.
I would say we genuinely, when we sit down for a meeting and I join him and he does design, I feel like our true magic comes at least $4 million. I wouldn't even say 3.5. And that's crazy to say. We know that's crazy to say. But now stuff is so expensive, then we want to bring the Calcutta Violin and the unlacquered brass and the Wolf appliances and stuff that it all adds up. And I'm not talking massive square footage, guys. I mean,
and it's still, you can go over budget in a heartbeat.
I would
at that
say
price point
where we get to
like it's crazy. There is no, I mean, we've worked on projects. Well, those, but up to $50-60 million, and
which is
you'll still get pushback on cost.
Well, and I think something,
it's relative, right? I mean, it all is, I
think something that like I've just gotten good at doing over the past few years is, over repetition and turning in so many of these houses, because I do a lot of volume in short amounts of time, is mastering like where to delegate money. You know what I mean? So,
buckets.
like I've got essentially like a pool of money to spend on a house on the finishes, and there's areas where, in my opinion, it's more valuable to put money there, and these other areas, we can not spend as much there. And so I think that's taken, multiple homes and multiple budgets and scenarios that, that's just like a skill that we'll always be working on.
It's so crazy though, because I mean, I'm not kidding. Our personal, and I'm not saying we have insane taste. I mean, I'm not saying we're doing insane things that are just ridiculous, but like the marble you want, or like an unlacquered brass faucet, or a stove you like, you know what I mean? I mean, that genuinely are $4 million homes we're feeling is what we're seeing, where we can actually choose the lights and the appliances and things we want. So it's not like, and we get that sounds crazy. Like I understand that sounds nuts, but to choose the actual finishes that our taste and we want to show, his talent is, I would say, in that price range, which is crazy that it's become to that now,
Yeah. And it's even, where you can really see, and again, all projects are good projects, but it is really where we see that from a vendor perspective is kind of where you start hitting that $1,000 square foot and up. Then it's a client that, with whatever the designer recommends, that's what is going to be the choice. But again, even with that, like there's budget constraints are a real thing. But it is fun that, you get to play in that sandbox. It's, and again, can you do everything that you desire? No. But can you a lot and make the areas you want to be really cool and spectacular?
It's a good creative challenge.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I do a lot of projects that are in lower price points too. And so figuring out like, how can I make it look like the best for the least type thing? Not necessarily the least, but you know what I mean? Like in a tighter
absolute budget. And he does such a good job on that.
Is an interesting space to
I'll
exist,
come up to the office.
It's a lot of fun.
I'll come up to the office and I'll have a whole plan out and I'll know the budget. I'm like, how did you do this? Like, this is beautiful. Like, it looks so good. And he really, I feel like that's why a lot of these men, like male builders, love him too, because they want to stay in budget. That's their bottom dollar. It's their main focus. And he does a really good job of that and still makes it absolutely beautiful and stand out.
Well, so one of the things, and let's just, I want to continue on this theme. I find it fascinating because a lot of the season has been talking about it's kind of a boom time for design. If you guys look back even to when you were children, designers were something that, for most intents and purposes were reserved for the very wealthy. And now you have
it's all sorts more common now.
You have, and I always use the analogy, walk into a brand new Twice Dailies and it is,
they're nice.
And it's super nice.
The one like in Franklin,
nice.
The one on
they're
Franklin
beautiful.
what is the exit? Is it Go See Hill?
Paytonsville exit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Looks like
white
So
exterior.
our lived environment is really changed in our lifetimes, and in any event, that's going to continue to happen. So, I think the value that, from a brand perspective, that I hear you talking about is for that male builder that the dollar amount is the bottom line. You know, we often talk about, and again, I'm not a plug for our company, but you know, if we encounter a builder that does site finishing, okay, and he's always done site finishing, one of the questions that I immediately start with is, well, would you like to bring this home to market 10 days faster? Well, yeah, that'd be great. Okay. Well, there's value, because not doing the process of site finishing and doing pre-finished material is better. Would you like for the home to sell for more? Because as opposed to 2 1/4 strip red oak flooring, it has, you know, a 7-inch European white oak.
It's beautiful.
You know, et cetera, et cetera. So has that been something you have found as a young designer where you're able to create value and you're getting more traction? You know, you just mentioned some of these lower priced. Obviously, there's got to be a payoff for the builder.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Less days on market. It's all of the things that you would.
Well, and Nashville's such a booming market. And so there's so many people involved in the industry, and there's houses going up like crazy, and it's clients are also becoming design savvy, you know, not necessarily that they speak the language per se, but like they can identify good design.
Good.
Yeah. And everyone has access to Pinterest and Instagram, and we're all seeing these
Makes
things.
a big difference.
So,
you walk into the Twice Daily. I mean, seriously, it's everywhere you go.
Right.
It's good design.
The expectation is a lot higher just across the board. And we all can identify good design, like I said. So since there's so many people and so much, you know, I guess competition in the game.
I wouldn't even say that though.
Maybe not competition, but it's just important to figure out how
to stand out. Yeah.
To stand out, you know, and like, how can I make, you know, let's say I'm working on a $1 million house that's in a neighborhood that has 50 homes that are all the same price point. Right. So they're generally going to have the same like specs,
People
right?
have choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
and you have to stand out.
But as far as like bedroom count and amenities and like what you get in that house, they're generally the same. But like, how is like my house going to stand out from 50 others? You know what I mean?
It's so cool too, because our best friends are technically, I don't even like the word competitor, but they are our competitors and they're our best friends. And that's what I love about Nashville is there's plenty to go around for everyone. And so we have a supper club, and it's every month, and it's our best friends. We have a Christmas party next week, and it's a tight knit group of us, and they're technically our competitors, but they're our absolute best friends. And we tell each other who to use. We share secrets, all of these things. So it's really cool in Nashville that everyone is somewhat working together. It's cool.
And the pool's getting bigger.
Oh,
like
it's getting huge.
It's to the point, like everybody wants a well-designed space.
Yeah.
If someone comes to me and is super competition heavy, I'm like, babe, you're insecure and you just need to do better. Work harder. Like if you feel like that you're more worried about the competition than what you have to offer, then that says more about you than what it says about the competition. And you get to work.
Well, and two, like I'm a big believer that, you know, there's a spot for everybody at the table.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think it's helpful that Nashville is becoming just a bigger and bigger melting pot of just different people and culture and background and everything. So to have a bunch of designers already here that are totally different from one another, you know, clients moving here, they're not all necessarily for me or her or whoever, you know, like there's somebody for everybody, which I think is an exciting part of Nashville just becoming a bigger market.
Totally. And it's a blessing for everybody. And I'm with you. Like there's no reason to be, there is enough to go around.
Yeah, I don't.
None of us can handle barely what we have.
Literally.
So I mean,
Me and Dillon are out here fighting for our lives.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's plenty. So we can all work together.
Yeah.
What would be smart of us as an industry is to actually work together and not try to undercut one another. And, you know, because that just, you know, reduces it to the lowest common denominator. Brant, this one's specifically for you, and again, young people, and even going back, you know, what are the kind of maybe the 2 or 3 most important things in establishing a brand? let's talk about some of these young folks coming in.
Gosh.
If you could just give some free advice, what are you advising people that don't have the budget yet? That, and I know we've covered authenticity. That's probably the cornerstone.
I would say work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. And if you want to own a business, be prepared to work 80-hour weeks, double a 40-hour W-2 job. What you see on the internet, people in these gorgeous homes. And for example, people might see my Instagram story yesterday, and I posted a story in a $10 million Troubadour house. It was beautiful. That was not my life. I woke up yesterday and worked from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. this morning and I went to a dinner last night for 90 minutes. So I had a 90-minute break all day. I think I peed twice yesterday. And that long from 8 a.m. to literally 2 a.m. So, it is vital that you've got to sit down with yourself and say, do you have it in you? Are you willing to go all the way? And I tell people, not are you hungry? Are you starving? How bad do you want it? It genuinely is about, you got to have that drive. That is my number one pillar. You have to be driven. And I grew up with my parents are both lawyers, and my dad was also a builder too. So my dad was building houses and going to court every day. And they were always there for me for the plays I was in, soccer, track, whatever. And they just did it all. And so that's how I grew up. I just saw them working their asses off. And so I just have that in me. And it's not so much this, I feel like it's an innate thing in you. So if you want to really establish yourself, you got to sit down with yourself and say, do I want to go all the way? And if the answer is yes, go for it. And then budget wise, you can start with filming and doing things, yourself, and just working and learning. It's all about, I got my first W-2 job when I was 19 years old at the University of Alabama. I was going to school and working full time. And I learned way more, in my opinion. I was at a great business program in Alabama. It's awesome. And PR program. It's one of the best communications colleges in the United States. And I learned so much more in that W-2 job than I did in college. It's about putting yourself in the work and really learning and being open to learning and realizing that you don't know anything yet. And you've got to be able to listen and take advice and constructive criticism from others. That was a huge hurdle I had to really go over. I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, is constructive criticism isn't evil. It's not bad. They don't hate you. It's your life isn't going to end if they give you their opinion. You just have to take it and hear it and move on and really learn from it. So I would say drive and, realizing that you have to be open to constructive criticism to learn every day. You can get 1% better every day. You just have to be open to it.
Yeah. Power of compounding. Looking back, you're 5 years in, kind of almost by chance, you got this great traction on TikTok. Anything you would do different, and more from an advice perspective, to young designers in building their business?
I don't know that I would change the way it happened.
I'm interested to say what I don't know what you're going to say.
I don't think I would change the way it happened, because it was really by chance, and it was not expected or planned, and there was no way to.
He was almost going to go to vet school within the month.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He was going to vet school.
Studying biology and chemistry. You know what I mean? Like, this wasn't.
He has like 3 science
This wasn't on the radar.
Well, but he always did design throughout college. That's how he made ends meet. And then his dad was a builder, and he was on job sites since he was a child. So it was in his blood. He's been doing design and helping since how old were you when your dad was building? Like a baby? And you were taking on job sites?
Yeah, my dad was building before I was born.
Yeah, and building hundreds of homes. He was working in them as a kid. So that's always been in you. But what advice would you give, though? I want to know.
Oh, God.
And starting as a baby designer, what would you do? You don't know?
Just lean into it. You know what I mean? And get creative. And don't compromise your creativity. You know what I mean?
Oh, I like that.
Because like my creativity was my brand, and I've maintained that pretty well, I think. And
I would say be who you are. His TikTok blew up. It got over 4 million views that first video because he's so calm. I'm very loud and extrovert.
But like I said that in the beginning, my life is my brand, and vice versa. And so I just had to show up and be myself. To be honest,
who you are is
and have my own creativity, and people bought into it.
And be myself.
So don't compromise what you want or your taste because someone else. Like, really create your taste. And then I would say be who you are. I remember
It's
all my family and friends too, like my
Yeah.
stepmom, and she's like, I just love Dillon. He's so calm. And when I talk to him on the phone, he just makes my day so much better because I'm stressed out, blah, blah, blah. And he is. I mean, a lot of people want to work with Dillon because building and designing is it's end of the world to them, a life or death, which this business is not life or death. This is not brain surgery.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
he makes them feel really, really calm and collected and that everything's going to be okay. And I think that's super important, is having a sense of peace around you and not letting people see, or not, I don't feel like you ever really freak out, but just, you have to be their peace in this business, you know, you really do.
How confident were you and are you? Like, it's, you know, from a creative standpoint, like, is that something from a young design perspective where you are like, is this really good? Are people going to like this? Because to me, that would be one of those things that could, you know, hold somebody back.
Yeah. It's vulnerable for sure.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, especially if you're doing something that's against the grain, which we've done in the past. I think at first, as a young designer, it can be intimidating to pitch that. Yeah. Because, you know, especially if you're not someone who's open to constructive criticism, you know, like that's so scary. That's walking the plank. Or it was for me, you know what I mean? Because I think, again, it's
vulnerable.
It's a really delicate, it's a precious, intimate thing. And you're lending a piece of yourself in some cases to a design. I think now I stand on a much more confident platform, having just done a lot of repetition of these things and feeling knowledgeable in, you know, the price point that I exist in and what I can do in those budgets and applications and staying like cutting edge. Because while I enjoy my brand and I enjoy developing it, it's always developing, right? So I think staying open to the new things and different things is also important.
I think it's crazy how much it's changed too, because his whole brand used to be extremely masculine, moody, all black. I mean, House of Black, because that first condo blew up and on social and did major numbers, and it was all moody. And so it's cool to see now he's a very, I wouldn't say basic, like you say, like earth tones and everything, but just his whole brand right now, in my opinion, feels very natural material, raw marbles, unlacquered brass textures, organic, and feels high end, and it feels like timeless and classic.
But it's still drama, and it's still
very dramatic, like House of Black was. Very statement, yes.
Yeah, like it has pieces of like how it started. Just
it's evolution.
Different. Yeah.
It's evolution.
Yeah.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a designer that could go back to the beginning of their portfolio.
Yeah.
I mean, I always have one of my good friends, Lori Prongepe, on. She's been, and she is so funny because she will like cringe at her original work, like oh my gosh, cringe.
Now look at her.
Doing
amazing work.
She's doing unbelievable work. So I think that's probably you could probably find songwriters or musicians, same thing. They're like, oh my gosh, we made that.
Yeah,
like a chef.
Well, it's just too. But going back to budget, I mean, when you start out, some of these clients who you start with, they have more skinny budgets. So there's only so much in design, even the beginning of your career, you can offer because there's only so much money can buy. You know what I mean?
Well, and it goes to, look, I share with people often, you guys were talking about lighting. I mean, it wasn't long ago. Let's not even talk about that. I had no idea 23 years ago that flooring was like even a choice. Like I just thought that it was something that was in a home. Like, what do you, there's choices for this? I thought carpet was one type of carpet, and if you went into an office building, it was another, and the builder just got that, that was it.
Yeah.
We were talking about that the other day, like when his parents were building houses, there weren't that many options. Like in the 90s, like what you put in a house, not like it is now, especially the technology you can put in a house now.
I mean, I thought Home Depot was where you would go for lighting or a ceiling fan. Like that's okay.
Now that's
one of these 9
like
options.
A no-no,
yeah. And now you go and it's like, oh my gosh.
That's one of our favorite things talking about lighting, though, is how you can make a home really feel cool and intricate. We were at a dinner last night with a friend of ours. He's a music producer in Los Angeles, and he is obsessed with lighting because he has to set the mood when they're in the studio recording. And he works with major artists, and so it is about an experience you give that person where it taps into a creative mind where they can truly open up. So we love lighting and the way it makes our clients feel. That's one of our favorite things.
Lighting is amazing, and I mean, we're seeing that firsthand. We at our new Charleston showroom any new showroom we do, we installed the full Ketra lighting system.
Oof.
So everything. So whether a client wants to understand how they're, how the environment's going to feel at any particular time of day or anything else, like it's key. And I mean, it's one of those things that we all live with on a daily, minute by minute basis. Lighting can change.
I mean, I'm shocked our current house, because we're doing a renovation, and it is, so, they say the hairstylist never cuts her own hair or gets her hair done because she's doing everybody else's. How we are in our house, because it's been a year-long renovation. But anyway, I'm surprised our light bill isn't $1 million a month. It's actually really cheap, because the amount of layered lighting we've done in this house is, I mean, you couldn't put more lighting in this house. You could not put more. I mean, it is everywhere. It follows you everywhere. And that's what we love is having the lights off at night and just the ambient lighting. It feels so good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really makes the house.
And it feels luxe, right?
Oh my gosh, it feels very high end. And some of it's not
high-end.
crazy expensive, like adding some toe kick lighting in your kitchen, like for your cabinet, your base cabinets. It's things that designers have to think about and add that at night when all those massive lights are off and the sun has gone down. It just feels so high end.
Well, it's an easy analogy for that I think I share with people. And again, if they have, like, go to a Blackberry Farm or an Old Edwards Inn, and not even the interior lighting, the lighting that the landscape and the ground lighting that is out, and like that is what the inside of your home should feel like as well with the ambient lighting. Like that's how you really get this great
it's not
lighting
even just
feel.
lighting you see, but feel too.
He taught me about that though. When I met him when I was in college, he was already way ahead of me, because he was already had very good taste when we were like 19 and 20. I remember coming to his house for the first time. It's like lamps and layered lighting, and me, I just had like one lamp next to the bed and an overhead light. So it really can create an experience in how you feel.
Absolutely. So that's I'm going to segue there. So I want to start this one with you, Brant. So brand associations. Okay. Share with me what that means in 2025, 2026 within our industry. Like the way different brands can play off one another, how risks of association, etc. And, I always think about, we're all, well, specifically you, in the luxury market, that's your, Birkin bags and what is that association? I mean, and how important is it?
I'll give you an amazing example. So I think you are who you are. And, I've always loved luxury and how you make people feel, in that and luxury is such a word that's thrown around. People are saying these apartment complexes luxury. No, it's not. It's genuinely going down to a light switch. Is it brass? Is it just plated? What is it? Like, when you say luxury, I take it very seriously. So I think I got very lucky because I felt that I already had that attention to detail in the luxury sector of real estate. But my first clients were really high producers. So I just started with really great people who were already representing that. So that really took off for me. But I mean, I had a client, and I went to lunch with a girlfriend the other day, and she's selling a home. Now I have a lot of my clients are selling homes that are at least, I would say, $2 million up to $20 million. And I had a client the other day, and a good friend of mine, and this was more freelance, like we shot quarterly back in the day, and she is about to go work with a company where the homes are $600,000-$700,000, but she's already in it making $40,000-$50,000 a month.
Oh, wow.
I have luxury real estate agents who don't do that in a month. They do, $30,000 in a month, but it's wild because you just have to decide, maybe are you wanting to do more quantity, volume? Like, what are you, a hustler? It really depends on your avenue of where you want to go in your association of what you want. But she's going to sell homes that are between like literally $700,000-$800,000 and be making $40,000-$50,000 a month in her 30s, which is so impressive.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it really depends on what you want. It's a mix of things. It's, do you care about? I have so many clients that make millions of dollars a year that don't care about luxury items or luxury, the way it makes them feel. They'll have a chill house, chill lifestyle. They'd rather have their money in a bank account and not have luxury items or whatever. And then you'll have some clients who really care about that feeling. So I think it really just depends at the end of the day what you value and what you care about. Like my mom kills it. My mom is in her 60s and still does major law cases and legal cases, and she could probably buy anything she wanted in the world. And you could give her a Porsche and a Mazda, and if she genuinely likes that Mazda better in the way it looks, she will get that Mazda, because there's just some people who don't care about it. You know what I mean? And I think that's really cool, where people care about something that makes them the way a product or something that makes them feel, rather than what it's a status to someone, you know? But I think, going back to your question, it's about who you are, what you want, and I think about drive and quality over quantity, because you're probably going to get a lot more clients who aren't luxury, so a lot more hustle, then it's a lot harder to sell a house that's a higher price point. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, totally.
So I think it's you sit down and ask yourself a few questions to figure that out.
Very cool. What brand do you most love? Like, what brand conveys who and what they are?
So a lot of people don't know this. Well, some people don't know this about me, but because I don't share my collection, but I like to collect bags, and I like to collect one-of-one bags or rare bags. So I don't really, you won't see me carrying them. You probably won't see a lot of them on Instagram. I know I share a lot on Instagram and social, but I don't share a lot of these bags.
And bags being like a Gucci bag,
or like a Fendi one-of-one from Runway, that's Fox Fur that I posted that the other day. Handbag. Or like a Birkin. So are you asking like brands like fashion?
Yeah, no, just brands in general. Like a brand
I really love right now. I think Fendi is so fun right now. I think Fendi is fun and young and whimsical and still couture and high end. I like the way it makes me feel. Now, if you just want to go to an absolute classic that's always going to hold its appreciation and value, Hermes for sure, Birkins and Kellys. I have a few of those I like to collect and put in, a safe, and don't ever really wear them. And I genuinely treat them like the S&P 500, because they go up in much more value. I don't know the exact number. I saw it recently, but they gain more value than like gold in the S&P 500 on average. It is insane. Wow. Like you can, for example, I bought a Birkin bag a few years ago for around $9,000, $9,500, and turned around and sold it for $30,000. Wow. I made $20,000. Yeah. Jeez. So it is crazy the money you can make and I'm not a reseller by any means. I keep them, but if I'm not, I don't want it anymore, whatever, I'm not going to Hermes buying a bag and turn around immediately and doing that. I keep it for, a while. But yeah, I think but they're an investment because of the brand behind it. Absolutely. Because supply and demand. Yeah. Supply and demand.
So is that the key of building a great brand?
I would say not being accessible to everyone is definitely a play.
Scarcity.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Like that is a big theme, and it is. And brand is not being able to help I love people. I want to help you, but I can't help everyone. I can't save everyone. You know what I mean? So it is, I'm going to help you as best I can. But if I realistically sit down and you come to me and you want to give me this big contract, sometimes you have to be able to walk away and say no, because you don't have the availability for it, but brand wise, going back, I love what Fendi is doing right now. I think it is very fun. And we were in Paris and picked up a runway bag from them that's going to actually appreciate a ton. And I think they're just having fun right now. I like it. Yeah.
And they spend a lot of time creating that brand, right? There's Fendi's probably at least 50, 60, 70 years old. Yeah. And it's had to evolve over time. And now it's super appealing.
I do wonder how
somebody like you.
I do think about this, like Balenciaga died, because of their scandal. And a lot of people don't know this, and you need to know this, but Demna, who did that awful campaign with the children and all that, he left Balenciaga last year and now is at Gucci. So if you don't represent that, don't buy, Gucci. This is old Gucci. This is old. So, but I wouldn't actively go buy Gucci right now because Demna's there. When Demna leaves, I would go buy Gucci. You know what I mean? Because I thought that campaign was disgusting. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it's like branding back. I'm like, is Balenciaga gonna ever bounce back, even though Demna's gone, who did that whole thing and did that mess? You know what I mean? Because I don't see anybody buying Balenciaga right now, So it is such a game of.
And I mean, that could destroy one stupid thing.
You have to be on your P's and Q's. And if they're representing working for you, it can ruin your business for life. Yeah. Why bring Balenciaga up? If you actually go back to Balenciaga Couture, it looks like beautiful Dior wedding dresses and beautiful and clean and formal and somewhat Chanel-like. And now it's rat trash, like Cheeto bag purses. I'm like, what are y'all doing? So it just really depends on who you let in your brand, who you let represent you, any employee you let in. It's all about representation.
So with that, how are you training those team members to be on brand?
When I interview possible employees, I mean, I'm not going to be annoying and do 3-4 rounds, but I can tell pretty quickly. And I honestly will go after the people that are people pleasers, that are more willing to, if a client asks for 3-4 different edits on a video, they're not going to side text me like, oh, this client's so annoying. If you did that to me, you'd be fired, gone. You know, the client is right. You know, just, I get it's annoying, you know, but I have one main employee right now and she's amazing and she never messages me like that or does anything like that. So she just is very happy, smiley, people pleaser, excited to work. You know, I would say finding a light in someone is very important, because you can train anybody to about do anything. And they do need to have somewhat natural talent, but it's about kindness and honestly humility. You know, how they talk to our clients is so important.
Is there room for 2 brands in one? You know what I mean? Like it's 2026. Everybody is aware of branding and it's very personal. And again, just thinking through this through the context of young companies, right? Both of you guys would be a great example of having a brand personality. Can you bring somebody onto the team that wants to develop their own brand personality, or is that a conflict, or is that, and you know, I don't know the answer to this. Is it a plus or a minus?
I don't think it's a plus or minus. I think we just don't have the time to do that with someone right now. Partnership. I mean, we'll get off this podcast and go straight back to work, and I'll be up till 2 a.m. working. You know what I mean? So bring on a whole new face identity. Like when I even brand myself a new website and stuff.
And I'm even talking about them taking that initiative on and building off of your brand.
I don't know. I feel like I've built it and worked so hard in it. I kind of I'd rather, like I said, I don't really want to scale the business. I just want it to be private. I'm very happy with where it's at. I want, when I go to shoots, for people to see me and work with me. I want them to feel comfortable with me, because earning that trust and earning that comfort was hard. You know, it's a lot of work. So I don't know. I probably would just stay in my own lane on that, because it's not like, I don't want to scale it into some big company. I want people to feel seen and feel comfortable with me and know that they're going to see me every month for our shoot.
Yeah. And you're the brand. I mean, it's
your gig. You know, that's what I'm working to.
People are hiring.
I think, you know, people could hire other social media content creators and managers. And, you know, there are some secret sauce things that we've developed and created with software developers that, you know, you cannot replicate, because I literally created them and worked years and spent tens of thousands of dollars to create, to grow our clients' accounts. But it's about you and how you make people feel at the end of the day. You know, anyone can be a content creator or a social media manager, but not everyone can be you and how you make people feel.
Share with me the difference between that. Like anybody, you know, in theory can be a content creator or an influencer or whatever. And obviously there's things that happen, you know, algorithms, whatever. But what is, when we talk about brand and we talk about just content creator, what's the significant difference there? Is it the strategy that goes into content creation, or is it like,
I will say I'm very strategic about content creation. Been doing it for a while now. I mean, my first paid gig, I was a little micro influencer. I had like 9,000, 10,000 followers. I was in middle school and I did a little brand deal with Barber jackets. And I started content creation in middle school when Instagram was just, honey, you're putting Valencia filter on your Instagram post. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was the bare bones. So I think it's just an innate thing in me. I've always loved to create content, and people make fun of me because the way I shoot homes, I'm very slow and I use my hips and not my hands. So I think it's a little bit of secret sauce in how you make, how you film and how you film at eye level and the angles. I'm very obsessive, I will say. I'm very obsessive. Like I will tell a client, you know, there are other skills like, no, we're going to do that again. And it's going to take us 3 seconds to film it real quick. Just the way you're walking, we're going to keep going. And I know that when I put a lot of work in and when I'm super obsessive about it and I'm a perfectionist about it, they're a reflection of me, because they're my brand. My people are, you know, it's not so much, I am my business, or my brand, but they're my business. I mean, they are them looking good, feeling good, sounding eloquent, sounding like an expert. That makes me look good in return. So I'm very adamant about being intense when it comes to how good something is filmed and how it is translated and comes off. Now, branding, you were asking about
just the strategy that goes into, you know, you can create content.
Mm-hmm.
I can create content and post something right now. To me, there's a significant difference between that and a full-on brand. And of course, you know, excluding obviously,
for example,
graphic design and things like that, but the long term, like
I see that in people. For example, I have a client who I adore, and she's a very good friend of mine, Katie Morrell, kick-ass agent in town, love her, and she is hilarious. She is fun and young and vibrant, and so I really always work with her and tell her, hey, let's do some storytelling, because she's a fabulous storyteller. So I see things in people that I pull. If someone's not super comfortable on camera, you know, I'll try to make sure we do different types of content. But with, for example, just give an example of Katie, she is a great storyteller, so I really push her to do storytelling. And then also we'll do content pieces and videos of her in communities like 12 South, where she's going in and out of businesses, because she's so involved in her community. All those owners of those businesses know her. So to translate that online, where people see how connected and out and about she is in those specific places, that translates very well online for her too. But I like to really sit down with people's brands and pick things out of them where they can shine.
It's almost the same thing you have to do from a design perspective. You really have to get you really have to know someone to be able to design a great space for them, or to design a great strategy for bringing out their brand. And you know, that's just kind of hitting me. Everybody has a brand. It's getting it out of them. I'll be honest too. I
don't think it's super hard to create a brand in Nashville right now, because so many people, we see a lot of people creating content in the real estate building space, the space we're in, the design space and all of that. It's because we're following them. If you really got an Excel sheet and typed in every vendor, every designer, every real estate agent, probably less than 10% of people are consistently doing content. So, I mean, my clients obviously are consistently doing content, but if you put, I represent, let's say 40, 50 people, and put I don't know how many, there's thousands of real estate agents alone. And we're talking, I work with builders, designers, so we're not adding those numbers in. We're just talking about real estate agents. I probably see 50 consistent real estate agents. I don't even, that's really being liberal with that, but a month who are posting consistently out of thousands. Think about that. That is such a small amount.
And think about that even
such a small
comparison to everything. Like, it's such a small, like, it's, we can't even comprehend how small it is. You know, going back to, you know, middle schoolers post, you know, animal photo, everything and anything that can be on there. It's like, it's a very small subset.
I would say it's not super hard to create a brand in Nashville, in my opinion, right now. You just have to be consistent, be able to get out of your own way, get out of your own ego, and put yourself out there and be vulnerable and talk on camera and be authentic and and be consistent. You know, I know that's not fun. I know it's terrifying, but you got to do it. If you want it and you have the drive in you, like I went back earlier and said, you have to do it. It's just a thing I think, you know, I have some older real estate agents who will call me, and they're in their, let's say 70s, and they're thinking they're going to do real estate for the next 10 years, and they will. They'll probably do it for another 20 years, and they'll kick ass and do it. And they're like, you know, I want to do content creation. I'm proud of them, because it is kind of aging out now, where if you're not online as a real estate agent doing content creation, I mean, I've had people call me and lose multi-million-dollar deals because they were not consistently posting on social media, and the sellers were like, we're not going to work with you because we're scared you won't market our property correctly. So
I saw a great guy the other day, and I was proud of him too, because you could tell he was, you know, probably 70 or right about there, but he was down in Palm Beach, and he was describing, you know, and just debonair and the suit and the perfect hair, and, you know, was into it, but he was walking people through what, you know, real estate was going to cost in West Palm with the new buildings. And I was like, okay, that's really cool that he's embraced.
I love seeing people that are over 65 on social media, because I'm like, good for you, because I know it's difficult, and I see you, and I appreciate that you're putting the effort in, because it's hard.
No, I'd give him a shot.
It's hard for people who are in their 20s, let alone in their 70s.
That's
you know
right.
What I mean?
Okay, final question. And this one, Dillon, I'm going to send to you. So, as a creative, obviously you have some help in content creation and in brand strategy. What advice do you have for other creatives to be able to lean into that? Like, I'm sure you have your own opinions, etc. Like, how do you navigate that, and how have you been able to successfully accept help to help grow your business?
Like, from an online perspective?
Yeah, just an online perspective. Yeah.
I think consistency is important, even if it's not necessarily the best thing ever that you're putting out there. I think maintaining some sort of relevance and like staying at the top of people's minds is helpful, especially because, you know, in design, right? Like so many potential clients are shopping you online, right? Like because they could go to my profile and then 10 other designers in Nashville and like look at what we've done lately and look at how we talk and carry ourselves. And that's influencing their decision on, you know, who they're gonna want to work with. And so I think staying online has been helpful because that's my only marketing for my business. I don't do like advertising in any other way. It's just my social media.
Yeah, we've never run ads ever.
And so it is not something that comes natural to me and something that I, you know, is at the top of my to-do list ever. But it's important, and it's an important key to keeping my business going.
Yeah, very
so
cool.
Yeah.
You just have to show up. I have seen
literally,
in my experience, you either have to lean into it and be consistent and do it, okay, or have zero online presence. And I think both of those have again, it kind of goes back to scarcity of some of my most successful clients, designers in particular, have zero online presence.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, how are you working on this project? Like, and it's, you know, been like that for a decade, and it fascinates me.
Are they older?
It's so fascinating.
No.
They're young.
I mean, they're not as young as y'all, but
are they under 40?
They're certainly not. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they're now over 40, but
over
like
40,
one in particular that I'm thinking
but
about.
like that
definitely in this entire era. Like it's like they've been tied in.
That's awesome.
And it's weird because it's either nothing, and I mean no website, no anything.
Yeah.
Or the other where I see a lot of success is people are intentional about sharing.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so crazy to hear you say that, because I have clients who will lose out on jobs. Like we're talking, I had a girl call me about a year ago and sign a contract with me within the afternoon, a 15-month contract with me, because she went to a listing in Green Hills and it was a $4 million listing. That's what the comp was one of the time. She said, you could probably sell for 4.2. They're willing to sell it for 3.99999. So you're talking about at 3%, $120,000 commission. And that was her third interview with them. At the end of the interview, they said, hey, can we, you know, check your Instagram, see how you market your other properties? And she had not posted in 9 weeks, and they asked her to leave.
Wow.
And she called me and signed a contract that afternoon. She lost $120,000.
Wow.
And she was and they were she brought the buyer's agreement over. It's a done deal. And it was just that last piece of not marketing properly for what they thought. You know, they were like worried that she couldn't handle the marketing they wanted, and they really valued social media. And they weren't a super young couple. They're in their 50s, 60s, the sellers. So it's crazy to hear you say that, because I've heard clients who, you know, a seller or a buyer, or even people who are going to hire a designer, they're relentless if you're not posting or consistent. You know what I mean? And it's almost a little harsh.
Yeah. No,
And it's an
been
investment.
interesting to me.
It's an investment too.
Yeah.
So I mean, you kind of have to like sell the vision a little bit, you know what I mean, for them to like
people get to know
justify
you. Yeah.
putting cost into like something like design, which is like a luxury service. You know what I mean? It's
You
not.
don't have to have it.
You don't have to have
Yeah.
it.
Even if I was in the design world though, and I hate to say this, it's so vital. I'm like, hire the designer, like shave off something in your budget. I don't know, do like an extra less 100, 200 less square feet on your house or something, because I've seen so many things go wrong. I've seen so many
Trust me,
horror
I
stories.
have been in,
and I hate
this
to.
was further in my career where I will be arguing with, you know, a very successful gentleman about, you know, 10 grand in his 13,500 square foot home, or over 20 cents a square foot. And I'm like, come on, man. First off, and I love saying this.
He got rich though because he was saving money.
I love saying, and this only works with men. Man, I thought you were rich.
Yeah.
That always, okay, you know, and then they sign off.
Our joke we say is, right now we say one of our girlfriends, and she will say, I bought a new dress today and I feel really good. And I'm like, oh, so you're rich.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
saying that.
Yeah, no, it's
I love saying that as a joke.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
But I always think, I'm like, you could have made this, instead of 13,500 feet, 12,900 feet.
199 feet. Yeah.
And you would be able to have all of the finishes that you want.
It's just so important to
Like,
hire the right help,
it's
where you
the
don't
right
waste
team.
money in the beginning and then you have to redo it.
The right team, the
Mhm.
architect, the design team, everybody come together. Okay, I lied. One more question
Okay.
before we get into rapid
Deal.
fire. And this is simple. I'm going to start with you. When you're looking to work with somebody, okay, where do you look first to research them? Is it website? Is it social media? Share with me where you start if you want to know something about someone or an entity.
For me, if I'm shopping clients like a builder, I'm going to their houses.
Okay.
I want to look
So
at
you're
their
doing in physical.
I am
Just driving up.
I want to look at it, touch it, feel it.
Okay.
I want to see the craftsmanship. I want to see the scale. I want to see where they tend to put attention to detail. Like I want the physical product in front of me. Pictures are great too as a starting point, but I want to see it in person.
Where do you start?
Instagram.
Instagram.
I got a.
So it's not website. It's not.
I got a lead yesterday for my website. It was a girl, took the name, put it on Instagram. I was like, okay, we can, she's gorgeous. She's doing great real estate, doing numbers. She seems nice, but I'm in a place in my business. I'm going to see how we react and interact with each other. You know what I mean? I'm in a place where I can kind of interview my clients too, my future clients. But definitely Instagram. I look them up and see how I can help them and see what we can change and maybe do a little mini audit in my brain. So when we hop on that phone call, because I'm not kidding, I'm driving. So sorry, I was at a red light, but I saw it pop in. I immediately copy and paste her name into Instagram, go look at her for about 3 to 4 minutes. The red light went to the gas station, when I was pumping gas, gave her a call. So I probably called her less than about 3 minutes 3 to 5 minutes when she came in.
And you had a pretty good look into who and what she did.
When I get an inbound lead, I call them very quickly because I want people to be like, damn, he's quick.
Yeah.
That's shock. I want to shock them. You know what I mean?
Well, guys, this has been a really cool conversation about just small business and how you guys are building business and where we are. And again, the importance of telling story through content and authenticity. I've had a lot of fun doing this, so thanks a bunch. Now it's time for our rapid fire. And Brant, why don't I start with you? Go-to comfort meal.
I love Chick-fil-A, but that's such a basic answer.
That's not bad.
The Restoration Hardware Cafe, I live there. I go there once a week. A lobster roll and a glass of Whispering Angel or Rumor at Restoration Hardware Cafe. Love.
Ah, that's wonderful.
And a Diet Coke.
Okay.
Their Diet Coke's good.
What about you, Dillon?
I love a good country Southern breakfast.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
nothing wrong
That's
with that.
home.
Nothing wrong
Where
with
would
that.
you go, though?
I don't know. Cracker Barrel.
Okay.
Like literally just a country
Waffle House.
Just a country Southern breakfast.
Yeah.
Is
Biscuits
home.
and gravy, eggs, bacon.
Probably more home cooked though, knowing you.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that. Okay. What one word best describes your mindset as we move into 2026?
Positivity.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I like to go in and be a little bit more up with clients. If they're like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, I would say, positivity, vibrance, something around there, just upbeat.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's great. I think we all need more of that. We all need more of that. What about you? What's the word that best describes you going into 26?
Ready.
Oh, wow. Okay. Any particular reason?
No, I'm just excited about like what's in the pipeline that's coming up, and I feel really creatively inspired right now, and like I have a lot of like itches that I want to scratch.
Oh, that's
and I have
great.
a lot of things in front of me that I'll
Some
be able to
really
do that
insane
with.
houses
that's
are coming
wonderful.
out for you.
Ready.
That's very, very cool. Okay, Brant, back to you. One creative habit or ritual you want to keep or start this year.
I'm really good about a week before we meet with my clients. I'll text them and say, "Hey, what's going on in your business right now?" Because I create topics for them with hooks and all of that, and I give them. I don't like to do scripts. I just want to give them bullet points of what I want them to talk about on camera. So I would say being prepared and being able to really text them the week before or over communicate and see what's going on in their business, because I'm not with them every day, and see how I can tailor content specifically to what they want to talk about that relates back to their business and presence time.
Okay, very cool. Like that. Be prepared. What about for you, Dillon?
I walk all of my jobs during and after they're done, and I keep a mental list of like what I would have done different, not from a criticism perspective, but like how can I improve the process in the beginning better. And that's like my little creative outlet. Or I'll interview clients like, now that you've lived here, what worked, what didn't, you know what I mean? Like, what would you change? And like, I just keep a mental list of all that. And it's not like degrading the work in any way. It's just like improving the creative process from the beginning.
That's really confident that you'd go.
I love it. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know.
That's fantastic.
Or if we ever like recycle a floor plan, which some of our builders do, I'll go interview that homeowner and be like, you've lived here for a year. How was it? You know, what do you like about this house? Where do you feel like you're, you know, outgrowing or whatever?
Very cool.
I want to know.
That's smart. That's really smart. Maybe, quite honestly, for some of our design, maybe all designers do that, but that's the first time I've ever heard one share
I love
so
it. I want to know. Bad.
Good piece of advice. Pro tip there. Okay. Final, Brant, good design should always feel blank.
Okay, do you know when you have a really long day and you've been on your feet all day and you take a shower and you get in bed and your feet hit the sheets and you're like, oh, like, praise God, I got in my bed. I think your home should feel like that. Like, oh, thank God I made it home. This feels amazing. I feel so good, because I really think the space you put yourself in is going to give you an outcome of how you're going to go out in the world and how you're going to mirror others and how you're going to help others and show up for others. So I would say that reset feeling of, wow, it feels good to be in this space. Wow. I'm glad to be home and doing what, and it doesn't have to be a specific design taste. I get to be home. So whatever feeling gives you that comfort, that feeling of literally your feet going in the clean sheets, your house has been cleaned, that feeling.
Yeah. That's a good feeling. I wouldn't mind that right now.
Exactly.
I would say like home for similar to what you just described, but like comfort, it's approachable, it's safe, it's consistent. It should feel that way.
I have two different aspects on that too, because we say the same answer, but another one is, I would say, sexy too. Like when I come down, like I'm so opposite. Like, oh, the comfort feeling, you know, that's sweet. But also, like when we come down, we did a new curved staircase in our new house, and they made me like, it just feels sexy. It feels like a vibe has been set, an aesthetic has been put in place. It feels intentional. It feels wow. This
well
is
thought out.
This feels good. You know what I mean? So I feel like we could go both ways on that.
Yeah, I love that. Fantastic. Brant, Dillon, thank you both for such an energizing and eye-opening conversation. You've given us a masterclass in how storytelling becomes strategy and how the narratives we craft shape not only our work, but the way the world receives it. Your perspectives remind us that design doesn't stop at the finished space. It lives on through the story which we choose to tell. And with that, we officially wrap up season 11 of Couture Construction. A huge thank you to all of our incredible guests this season and to the talented team behind the scenes. Our producers, editors, Chelsea Rand and Cast Collective, who help bring these conversations to life week after week. To our listeners, thank you for being part of the community and joining us on this season-long exploration of storytelling and design. Your support, your shares, and your engagement make this work meaningful. We'll be taking a short break as we prepare for what's next, and we can't wait to be back with more conversations that inspire, educate, and celebrate the people shaping our industry. Until next season, keep designing stories worth telling.